Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Starry Tarot. Good to see you. My name is Sophie. For those of you who may not know, if you are new here, welcome, and thank you so much for your subscription. If you are returning, hello again. Good to see you. Welcome back. So the way this channel works, for those of you who don't know, this is a live stream for tarot readings. If you have a question, any question on God's green earth that is not medical and not legal, I'm your girl. I can answer your question for you. I have a basic menu of reading options for you. I have it posted at the bottom of my chat, and it's also posted throughout the body of the chat. Shout out to Nightbot, my dutiful AI buddy. Starting with my basic mini readings, those consist of one question, 5 cards, and those are a donation amount of $7.77. Yes, we do angel numbers here, unless you need to use SuperChat, in which it is $9.99. And then I also offer my full reading, which consists of 10 cards, and that can be split into 2 5-card readings, or I highly recommend just one full reading. It's really comprehensive and deep. And those are $14.14, unless you need to use SuperChat, in which they are $20.20. And then finally, I offer my expanded or in-depth reading. That is 15 cards. That can be one question. It can be split into one 10-card question and one 5-card question, or split into 3 5-card questions. It's your reading, your choice. And those are $21.21, unless you need to use SuperChat, in which they are $29.29. I answer all sorts of questions, lots of romance questions, lots of questions relating to love and romance and interpersonal connections, lots of spiritual questions. Not so much lately, I realized, but for a very, very long time, one of my main questions that I would get from folks was, please provide me with any messages that Spirit needs me to hear. I love providing Spirit messages. Those are delightful. I also answer a lot of career questions, a lot of finance questions. But yeah, I answer a lot of romance questions. That is a big component of the types of questions I answer. And I developed a reading about 5 years ago that a lot of my clients refer to as my OG love spread. I refer to it as my TFI spread, but it essentially answers 5 questions in one. It can be done with a mini reading, a full reading, or an extended reading, and it answers whether your person's current thoughts are towards you, their current feelings, their current intentions, their current general energies towards your connection, and your general energies towards the connection between you and them. And again, that's at no additional donation amount. I just suggest that for a reading. It's very thorough, and very rare that you find readers that are happy to answer more than one question in one question, but it's very, very comprehensive. And then on the topic of romance, I don't ascribe to the twin flame theory. I'm not going to get into why unless somebody wants to know. Then I'm happy to share. But I don't subscribe to the twin flame theory, but I do believe in soulmates. I truly believe in soulmates, and they're not just romantic, but they do come in romantic form many times. We have multiple soulmates, and they come in all different shapes and sizes, but the soulmate reading can be done for folks who are not in a romantic connection, but it's very, very very clarifying for those of you who are in a connection with someone currently, maybe something fresh, something relatively new, and you're curious about where it's heading, what, if this is as serious as you may feel like it is, or if there is seriousness on the horizon. And the way we ask it consists of 10 cards, and the way we ask it, we can ask it in one of 2 ways. First way we can ask it is we just directly ask your angels, messengers, and ancestral spirit guides if the person in question in your life is indeed a soulmate of yours, and if the answer is yes, they'll explain why, and if the answer is no, they'll explain why not. Then alternatively, we can also ask the question, if we can ask your spirit guides if they give their divine blessing towards this connection. If the answer is yes, that confirms soulmate confirmation status. Our guides really only want us to be, it's not that they don't want us to be with people who aren't soulmates of ours per se, but when it comes to relationships of longevity and growth, they have specific people in mind oftentimes. And that is $16.16 unless you need to use SuperChat, in which it is $23.23. I mentioned earlier that I answer a lot of questions pertaining to spirituality. I have been studying past life regression therapy since I was very, very young. So I offer past life regression questions, and they can be asked with any intent. We can ask for spirit to illustrate a past life of yours that can help you navigate this life, your current life, most effectively. We can ask spirit to illustrate a past life of yours that maybe explains something that is inexplicable at this time in your life. There's no limit to the reasons that we can ask spirit to illustrate a past life of yours. And we tend to have, not we tend, but we have many past lives. We don't all have the same amount of past lives, depending on how old of a soul we are, but we do have multiple past lives. So there are, asking with intent is very important because, or you can ask spirit to just illustrate whatever past life they feel that you would be most helpful for you to know. I've definitely asked it in that context as well. And they're endlessly fascinating. And those are $19.19 unless you need to use SuperChat, in which they're $27.27. I'm also a psychic medium. I can communicate with those who are no longer with us. If that is something that you are interested in, I would be honored to read for you, of course, but please let me know before sending your donation if that is something that you are interested in. I do need to know the person's name, their date of birth, their date of passing, and their relation to you. It's extremely helpful if you can provide a photograph, either via email or Instagram, but it's not mandatory. But it does really help me connect with them, usually faster, but not always. So it's not mandatory. And then I also offer private readings. I offer 2 different types of private readings. The first one that I offer is by appointment only. It's one-on-one, it's offline. Obviously it's private. It's just me and you over Zoom, and it's essentially what you're seeing here without people watching and just your complete undivided attention from me. And you see me, you hear me, you see the cards, you can provide me with all of the context and backstory that you feel is necessary. And there's no limit to the number of questions that I can answer for you. We can go get as deep as you want, so long as time permits. And I have often had to extend private readings, not had to, but at the request of my clients, extend the timing of my private readings. And yeah, if time permits, I'm more than happy to do that. And again, that provides that level of discretion and also convenience. It's on your time, and I highly recommend it for folks who are dealing with something that's not just private, or not even necessarily private, but complex, that has multiple layers to it, and possibly some heavy backstory. And then I also offer private readings at no additional donation amount. To send in your question with your donation, and I can answer your question for you within 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 3 hours. I always have a deck of cards on me, but make sure you do include your question. I have had in the past people make donations and don't attach their question. I can't answer a question I don't have the question for. And I do those over voice memos, over DMs on my Instagram, or typed over email. And y'all should all go follow me on Instagram by the way, while we're here at Starry_eyed_tarot. And with that being said, yeah, the donation queue is open. So whoever makes a donation next will be read for next. Hello, Miss Wendy. Happy Sunday to you, girl. How are you doing? How is your Sunday treating you? I'm admiring my new little dolly. I'm so, girl, did I tell you that I had a dream that I even got this doll? That was part of the reason why I went to Pop Mart the other day. Fascinating dreams, I know, but prophetic. I had a dream that I was at Pop Mart and I was looking at a 12-pack that they have, and I had a dream that the top left one, oh, I did tell you the dream? Okay. Yeah, freaking crazy, yo. I was like shaking when I opened it up. I'm like, whoa, I'm like one of those like crazy like influencers that does that. Yes, that's the crazy thing. And well, it's not too crazy. Well, the dream's the crazy part, but it's the strategy. It actually worked. Like shake it to the left, and if it like makes like a little bit of a hollow sound, then that's a sign that it's this one. And if you like plop it like on the counter, if it sounds hollow, then that's not it. Like it just all, yeah, it was crazy. I'm a little too obsessed. You're catching up on sleep. Good. Yeah, you need to catch up on sleep. How's the jet lag going? I used to Google people showing ways to figure out a blind box. And I'd never thought about doing that before. I was never, well, no, I've liked blind boxes in the past, of different varieties. Labubus you can't really predict because they're just different colors, you know. But with these little figurines, there's absolutely a science to it. They're all different sizes. Like the first doll I got is definitely more top heavy, whereas the bottom one she has like that gravy boat that she's in, so it was very heavy underneath. Anyway, yeah, it's nuts. I need to slow my roll. Yeah, no, I've always had an affinity for little figurines and toys and dolls, especially. I collect vintage Barbies. I slept so early last night, so hopefully the jet lag will be okay. And you got back Friday, right? The jet lag is so hard. I swear, they say that it takes for every, what is it? For every day that you're there, or for every day that you have returned, you acclimate by 1 hour. So Portugal, 9 hours away. Got back Saturday afternoon. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, even being there for a week, like even the first couple days, whenever I go to Europe, like doesn't matter how much. My doctor, I only get Ambien when I travel. She understands the struggle. Like seriously, bodies are not supposed to be flung over seas. You know, our bodies did not prepare us for airplanes. Um, but you would think I would be better at handling jet lag at this point. It's easier, I will say, girl. I don't know if you've noticed this. I think it's easier when I come back because you gain a day, whereas when you go there, you lose. You lose a day. You know, I think that's the difference. But yeah, my friend told me it was like for every day that you're there, you reacclimate by 1 hour. So it takes 9 days essentially to like acclimate to the time. I feel like it only gets worse with age. You did? Oh, thank you so much, Miss Wendy. Thank you, thank you. I've said that too, that it only gets worse with age. Although a friend of mine who is, let's just say, much older than me, and us, they travel a lot, and they've like, well, yeah, they still experience jet lag, but not nearly as bad as I do. Um, and I do feel like it's getting a little harder as I get older. Everything is. Ugh. But some things get easier. How can I help you, love? What is your query? I think it depends on time zone difference too. Exactly. Yeah, the time zone difference for sure. And yeah, I really do feel like coming back's a lot easier because you gain that whole day, you know? And there's definitely like tips and tricks too, as I'm sure you know. Like we've all heard it. Like you have if you arrive in the daytime, to stay as late as you can, or stay up as late as you possibly can. To do it, like to try and get a flight where you can sleep on the plane. There's definitely tips and tricks for sure that do work. I'm getting a bit nervous about Samuel coming back. If I were to act neutral with him and just let the past be the past, how would our dynamic be this time around? So, like, just keeping things strictly business, right? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral with Samuel, how would things be between them this time around? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral with Samuel once he returns, would things... Sorry, one second. Or how... I'm sorry, let me re-ask that question differently. Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral with Samuel once he returns, would it change? How would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel when he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. If Wendy were to act neutral towards Samuel once he returns, how would their dynamic be? Yeah, just professional. Okay, let's see. We have Four of Swords, Knight of Swords reversed, Two of Pentacles, the Magician, and Eight of Pentacles. Good stuff. Good, really good stuff. This is good. This is good, Wendy. You guys would definitely be functioning in a very cohesive manner. There would definitely be peace between the two of you with this Four of Swords, so long as you keep your distance, you know. Just speak to him when you need to speak to him. Just strictly business. The only thing that I'm seeing that's slightly negative here is this Knight of Swords reversed. I'm really over the awkwardness and wanting peace. Yeah. And I was just going to say that, and this Knight of Swords reversed, I feel, is more his energy than yours. A little bit of yours, just because I think it's just human nature, even if you're over somebody. But when they're, when we're presented with information, or when we're presented with, a picture, so to speak, in our mind, or an idea, and we don't have all the details, sometimes we try to fill in the blanks, with what is unknown. And I see him doing that more than you, if you do that at all. But I see you guys working very, very well together. This Two of Pentacles, this is cooperation. It's not Three of Pentacles, but we're talking about two people here. We're talking about you and him. We're talking about working with one another, flexibility with one another, being accommodating, but not bending over backwards, but, for the sake of getting the thing done. And there will be success in this project. Of course, you're going to be a major part of it, just as he is with the Magician. And yeah, this Eight of Pentacles is steady, solid work. It won't interfere with the work at all. In fact, I don't want to say it'll improve the work, but I think that keeping things neutral and professional between him is it might be the only way to have it this way. Peaceful, and productive. That's what we want. We want success with this project. We don't want any more delays or extensions. We want to get the thing done. By we, I mean you. But I think that you want this to be good. You don't do something unless you're gonna do a good job. But you also don't want this going on forever. So yeah, I really like this energy. The Magician, 8 of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles. So long as you keep your distance, this 4 of Swords, he will be civil. You will be civil towards one another. I can only imagine. It's been going on for a while. I'm sure most of you are sick to death with the project. It's been going on and on and on, and but it will come to completion. There will be success. The Magician, 8 of Pentacles. That is for sure something of a work nature coming to a close. I wanted to see Pentacles here. I wanted to just see y'all working together in harmony. All of us are burned out. I can only, yeah. And you already, feel some type of way towards that job. I wouldn't say that you're burnt out, but you work very, very, very hard. If you weren't a Knight of Pentacles, if you weren't a Taurus, most people would be totally, totally, utterly burnt out. And you just got back from vacation, but still, even that is, even with time to relax, there's burnout, inevitable burnout in certain projects and in one's work. And I was talking about it yesterday with a client. Like, it can be avoided sometimes, implementing certain tools and skills, and this is one of them. It's just keeping things professional completely, and I see this definitely being expedited, not expedited, but coming to a close sooner, like as basically as soon as possible, but like with success. Absolutely. Donated for another one. Well, thank you so much, love. Why am I not hearing my phone? But oh, here we go. Thank you so much, Miss Wendy. Please go ahead and post your second question. Thank you. How is he showing up this time around? What do you mean by that? Like literally, like physically, or energetically? Like through what are the cards? Like his attitude right now, or what will it be like once he returns? Like when you guys are working together. Okay. Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. How? I think it's this week or next week. Okay. Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like towards? Well, what will Samuel's attitude be like in general when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What will Samuel's attitude be like when he returns? Queen of Pentacles reversed. Speaking of burnout, that's the burnout card. 8 of Swords reversed. The Tower. Page of Cups. And 9 of Pentacles reversed. So I stand by the last reading I did for you. I do think that if you just act professionally towards him, he will reciprocate and he will be smooth. Things will be smooth sailing. But we didn't ask how that Knight of Swords reverse did show up, and I told you I felt like that was more him than you. And I did think to myself, I'm like, but we're not asking how he feels or how he thinks about how he'll feel or think about this. Starting with the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Queen of Pentacles reversed is burnout. Work is literally the work burnout card. This was when I was telling you I was talking to a client about how work burnout can sometimes be inevitable, but sometimes avoided. Implementing certain tools. This card came out a lot yesterday for folks. People are very burnt out. It is definitely the work burnout card. The Queen of Pentacles is a burnt out bee. She's feeling burnt out. And with this 8 of Swords, I do want a little bit of clarification here. I was going to say, because 8 of Swords reversed is like breaking free. 8 of Swords upright is like, is being bound. Is being bound. It's bondage. It's the traditional artwork is a woman who's blindfolded. She can't see. She's bound. Her arms are bound. She can't move. And even if she were to unbind herself, which she doesn't know is easier than she thinks, there are 8 swords in the ground around her. She can also pull them out of the ground, so there is something to that. But when it's in its reverse position, we're talking about someone who's breaking free from some kind of shackles or some kind of convention here. And I just got my clarity. I have to look at my book again. There is an energy of surrender. That's the word that's the word I saw. Is the word I'm getting with this card. Is there's an energy of surrender, like him almost feeling like, yeah, that makes sense that she would behave that way towards me. Because he still has feelings for you. He's still got a crush on you. We legit have the crush card here, Page of Cups. That's still there. That's still there, that affection. And the feeling of failure. And I do believe he blames himself in terms, as he should, in terms of things not working out between the two of you with this 9 of Pentacles reversed. It almost got there. Like when you guys first met, as you know, like there was growth. There was some things were moving along, and then he freaked out and pulled back and resulted in this 9 of Pentacles reverse. Now I want just some clarity lastly with the Tower here. Sudden job loss, workplace disruption, or workplace chaos. He's not going to be causing chaos in your workplace. I stand by that. This Tower doesn't have to do actually with the job itself. This has to do with his feelings for you. He understands that he not only did he screw up when he was here, he screwed up very recently with the whole booking the restaurant for you under his name. Like, that wasn't cute. It wasn't funny. Like, what's your goal? What's your angle here? Like, because he lives a lot closer to Portugal than you do. So, of course, that would stand to reason. Like, is he thinking about going to Portugal? Like, why else would anyone do that? Just to be cheeky? No. I don't think he's that kind of person. I think that he might have been drunk or something, or acted out on a whim, and I think the second he did it, he was like, what did I get myself into? Like, he just doesn't have the confidence to move forward. And this tower to me has nothing to do with him causing chaos or disruption into your workplace. I don't see it as him causing chaos at all or disruption. I see this as him accepting that he effed up and it's over. He really missed his chance more than once. And he feels ashamed, and as he should, yeah, like you just typed, I don't suggest that people, it never makes me feel happy to see someone feel shame, but also doesn't make me feel happy to see the way that he treated you. That angers me. I know he didn't try to hurt you, but his negligence speaks volumes too. His ignorance, I can't abide by it. Sorry, I'm hella judgmental right now. What got into me? But I mean, we've been, I've been privy to this situation for a while now. I've just seen what he's put you through, and you've handled it with such grace. He should grow from this. I heard he was back in the hospital last week. He's running on fumes. He's burning the candle at both ends. I don't think he gets the rest he needs. I can almost promise you he doesn't get the rest he needs. He acts like someone who's erratic and like who doesn't sleep, honestly. And that's just one of the things that I see. But he's absolutely burnt out. And is that going to affect one's physical health? You bet your ass. That's why I always warn people against it. Like, yeah, money is important. It's really important that we're able to take care of ourselves. That's why it's so important that we don't. I never encourage people to call in sick when they're not. Like, you save those sick days because there may be a time in the future where you are not feeling well and you will need to still have that money. You know what I mean? But don't push yourself to these kind of, this whole grind culture mindset has literally killed people. My friend's dad died of a heart attack. And I was thinking, just the other night, when we were kids, he would literally work like 14-hour days, sometimes 16. He would like be in the office. He was the VP of some huge bank in Hong Kong, but the SF chapter. He would start work at 7 in the city and lived in the burbs, and then he'd be home at like 9:30. Like, it's not confirmed that he died of a heart attack, but I have every reason to believe, excuse me, that he did, because he didn't drink, didn't smoke, but damn, was that man overworked. Yeah, I can't believe they're sending him back, despite his health condition. Yeah, oh shit, girl, I'm so sorry, I didn't read that yet. I need to read that. I've been dealing with, I have 2 Instagrams. I've one for my modeling as well, and we had our very first, so I'm part of the Bay Area Models Guild, which is it's not the only models guild in the world, but it's the first. Started in 1948, and for the first time in all these years, it's our first like artist salon. We host our first artist salon today, and I was the first model. I signed up for it. I wasn't chosen or anything, but I raised my hand. I was like, I would love to debut this. This is a big deal. It's a big deal in our history as a guild, and it was so much fun. I brought hella costumes. It was awesome. But what was I going to say about that? Something I was going to mention. Yeah, just there's also a lot of drama involved with not that situation, but just in the guild in general. And I had to post a bunch of stuff and like contact people that were only contacting me on Instagram, and yeah, I didn't want to bring the mood down. No, not at all. Oh wow, that's very exciting to be involved with. It was super awesome. It was super exciting, and we had a great turnout. I honestly, it was so poorly promoted. I was like, I will not be surprised if like only 5 people show up. I've never seen, I've modeled at that studio many a time. More times than I can count. I've never seen it that busy. I've never seen it that packed. Like, people were like squidging in their easels and stuff. Like, there must have been at least 30 people there. It's a pretty small place too. So at least I did my part in my promotion. I did recognize a few of my Instagram friends were there. I was just like, kind of worked. It did work, but we need to work on promoting more in the future, for sure. But despite it all, we made it work. So didn't explain why I pulled the Strength Reverse card today, because I certainly didn't feel like Strength Reversed. I felt very, very empowered. So yeah, that was exciting. Yeah, we have that space for 2 days a week now, or 2 sessions a week. So very exciting stuff. And yeah, and then I'm organizing a picnic for this Saturday, with some of my fellow models. All of them. I mean, everyone's invited, on UC Berkeley's campus, but and hopefully, I think the weather should be nice that day. You are so welcome, Miss Wendy. Thank you, love. Thank you. I hope you're meeting. I am. Thank you. Yeah, me too. I haven't done a picnic in so long, and a bunch of new people joined the guild too. And so I was like, we need to do a mixer. We need to do something. Because a lot of folks, we work on our own. So when we do get to meet each other, it's important. It's important to have those connections. And I love a good picnic. I'm bringing hummus. I'm debating on bringing those little. I don't know how many people are coming, but I want to bring those little cans of sparkling wine, even though that's not legal, but they look like soda pop. Definitely bringing hummus and olives. Should be good. Just hoping. Yeah, I believe the weather should be good this weekend. It's awful today. It's so bloody cold. I was not feeling it. Alright, hopefully this won't screw up here. So the donation queue is currently open, y'all. If you have a question, send in your donation and we will commence with your reading. Thank you. Whoa, it's gloomy there too? Yeah, that's it. It's just gloomy. It's not raining or anything, but it's gloomy. It's cold. I'm in a sweater, as you can see. Yeah, it's just cold. But I looked at the weather for the rest of the week, and it's gonna progressively get warm. No, Tuesday's gonna be cold, but then after that, it's gonna be in the 70s. Thank God. Have you heard? I don't know if you're still here, Wendy, but are you familiar with that comedian? His name's Mateo Lane. He's gay. He's hella gay, and he's friends with a lot of the drag queens, a lot of the Rue girls. Whoa. Hi, Sammy. I'm doing well, love. I'm doing well. How are you? Absolutely, Sammy. Yes, the donation queue's open. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sammy. Do I have a future with the Gemini that I have been talking to for the past month? What is his name? Okay, love. Tyler. And you are a Pisces. Okay. And let me go ahead and add you. Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like between Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like between Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? Angels, messengers, and spirit guides. What does the future look like for Sammy and Tyler? We have 10 of Cups, the Devil reversed, Temperance reversed, 2 of Wands, and 9 of Wands reversed. So you've been talking to him for the past month. here's what I see. Obviously, this is what you came to hear and see, is what I'm seeing. I don't know how you feel about where things are right now. If they're fun, I get the sense that things are fun between the two of you, but lacking a certain level of depth that you're craving. With this Ten of Cups, I do get that there's joy between the two of you at this current time, and more joy to be had between the two of you in the future. And I'm not just getting this energy from the card and from my psychic energies that I'm channeling, but astrology as well. You said you're a Pisces. He's a Gemini. I love Geminis. I've dated so many Geminis. Too many, because sometimes they can sometimes not stick around for too long. I'm not trying to make you feel scared or nervous about that. It's not what I'm implying here, but and is every Gemini shallow? No, not at all. In fact, I think Geminis are incredibly deep and very multifaceted. I would put the word gem isn't literal in Gemini, but I do see them as like jewels. They're very multifaceted. So what I've noticed with Geminis, and I don't know if you've noticed this with him, is they don't get very deep. They are, and you can probably sense it, but they usually peruse the surface and stay there. That's kind of their comfort zone. So while I'm not seeing like argumentation between the two of you, I am seeing a fundamental disconnect when it comes to what you're looking for long term and what he's looking for long term. We have this Devil reversed card here. The Devil is a marriage card. I don't know if you're looking for marriage, but at least a binding romantic connection. The Devil, the traditional art, I don't know how well you know tarot, but the traditional art is basically the lovers, but they're bound. So it's often seen as a marriage card, or at least a very a strictly committed connection. I also see an imbalance and, again, a discrepancy in what you're looking for long term and what he's looking for long term with this Temperance reversed card. I don't, and you may have, correct me if I'm wrong, but you may have noticed it, that sometimes it could be a difference in love languages, but I feel like he doesn't always reciprocate the energy and the time and affections that you give to him. He doesn't want to break up with you. He doesn't want to end this. With this Two of Wands here, he definitely has affection for you and enjoys spending time with you. But he does, and I don't know what he's told you about what he's looking for long term, because he has a pretty high, or he has a pretty low ceiling, pretty low cap on what he is willing to accept and to give in a long-term relationship, which is not, he has, and what did he say? Did he say that he was looking for marriage? If he did, that he really wants to have a child, and I don't mind it. Okay, well, I don't see anything about babies or marriage here. I see a lack of wanting to get married at this time, at the very least. So it's only been a month and he wants a child with you. I'm just concerned about the distance, and there's distance between the two of you. Yeah, that is concerning. And coming from someone who's dated more Geminis and Leos, I've dated the equal amount. I've dated a lot of them. And I dated a Gemini recently. Coming from someone who's dated a lot of Geminis and knows a lot of Geminis, they're not all liars, but they have a very skewed view of the truth. They will say things out of knee-jerk reactions. They're talkers. They talk, and sometimes, I don't want to say it's verbal diarrhea, because that would be extremely dismissive to say, but I get that I get the sense that not everything that he says, but a lot of the things that he says out of excitement and without fully thinking about the logistics of things, the hows and the whys. Not the whys. I don't doubt that he wants a child, but there's distance between the two of you. You've only known each other for a month. I did a reading for someone not too long ago who is really regretting getting married and having a child with a guy 1 month into getting to know them, because 2 years later, she's really stuck and she's in a really tough place, and he ended up not being the guy that she met. You don't really know someone in a month. People can hide a lot about themselves within that time. People can constrain and conceal a lot about themselves in that time, and with the distance as well. Oh, not right away. We don't want a kid now. Eventually, we will if this works out. Okay, so in the future, you guys would like children. I understand that, but I am seeing someone who is not seeing things, is not looking at the big picture, is not looking at every aspect that they should be looking at. Again, I'm not seeing anything about him not being attracted to you, not being interested in you. He from what I see here, he is definitely attracted to you. He's definitely interested in you. But yes, the distance is going to be very difficult. I don't know how long the distance is, but I've tried long distance a couple of times. One was not too long. One was across the country, and we could hardly maintain just a relationship. Because I would argue that one of the most important aspects of being in a relationship is physically being with someone. So unless you're planning to move near him or he's planning to move near you, it's possible that it could work. But that's the thing that I'm seeing is I don't see someone who's thinking through all the details here, or taking the steps to really analyze those. Which again, I'm not saying that he's lying, that he doesn't want children. I believe that he does eventually want children. But maybe it's just because I'm old, but to have a child, I mean, it's not something one should just do in a knee-jerk fashion. It's something that should definitely take time, as you're aware of. And I think he says that he wants to take his time, but girl Geminis, they're the Knight of Swords. They move quickly. They don't want to wait for anything. One Gemini I dated had been married 4 times, and I asked him, I'm like, how long did you know so and so before you married her? Oh, we knew each other for like a month or 2 weeks. Like, just jump into they move faster than any other sign, and sometimes that comes to bite them in the butt. So I think the best course of action here is to take things slowly and surely. As I mentioned, he does like you. He does have affection for you. Does have desire for you. But he does need to slow his roll in terms. Even though he's saying in the future. I think I don't know if you guys have met in person yet. If you guys haven't met in person, I think that's the first step here. If that hasn't happened, would be taking steps to, when do I get to see you? When do we get to see each other next? Are you guys planning on seeing each other anytime soon? Because that's a big one there. And if he and showing that effort and making those plans, we will in a couple weeks. Oh, you planned it. Great. That's wonderful. So that's you're in a good space. You're in a good space. no need to rush anything. And when you feel he might be rushing things, don't be afraid to pump the brakes. He will likely not go running. That's not really how Geminis act. They often need someone in their life to pump the brakes and kind of keep them in check in that sense, because they can run ahead of themselves. They have great ideas and they're really fun and they're really great people. And they've got really sharp minds on them. They're very smart. But sometimes they can let their not just their thoughts but their words get ahead of them and just about pulling in the reins a little bit. But I do see potential, so long as you guys take things slowly and surely and methodically. That Ten of Cups was right there. That is romantic harmony. So yeah, as I mentioned, if things feel good now, I sense that the energy feels good, and I sense that the energy is going to continue to grow on itself. This good energy, but so long as it doesn't run away ahead of itself. If you don't mind, could you share more advice about Gemini men if you have time? Gemini men. What advice would I give about Gemini men that I haven't already given you? That yeah, they move really fast. They can say things that they don't mean, and then sometimes they can really surprise you, hun. They'll say something where you're just like, yeah, right. Like this is one of your crazy ideas that you spout off, and then they actually deliver. So I've been very pleasantly surprised by Geminis, and even the man I mentioned that was married 4 times, I never married him, and he had his volatility issues. They can be volatile. They can definitely be prone to anger, and if they're not prone to anger, they can be very prone to paranoia. I've noticed this with the men more than the women, and we're talking about the men here, so that doesn't matter. But that is something I've noticed too. And not just in people I've dated, but also I'm thinking of a gay guy friend of mine. I'm thinking of a family member of mine. Yeah, I know. I really, and I'm a Gemini moon. I think they're one of the most fascinating signs. And I really identify with Geminis in a lot of ways too. I have a lot of Gemini in my chart. What else would I tell you about them? They have a reputation for not being faithful. They have a reputation for polygamy and such, and that is actually something that I have not personally experienced. Probably because it's just, that's something I wouldn't. If I was dating a Gemini man and he did step out on me, that's when I go bye-bye. That's when I'm just like, okay, you're interested in someone else, I'll find my own peace. Bye. But most of the Gemini men I've been with, when they are loyal to a woman, they really are. Same with Leos, they're very similar. When they do choose a woman to be loyal to, they're very serious about it. They will protect, they will attack. They're very serious. So yeah, don't believe the hype. There's a lot of things that are, according to one survey, girl, I'm not even joking, according to a survey, the most, I thought it would be Scorpio, just because people are afraid of scorpions, but apparently the most disliked sign statistically is Geminis. I was like, okay, that's sad. I think there's a lot of, they do get a bad rap. Again, like, from my experience, I haven't noticed them being players. Maybe they're just really good at hiding it, but I don't think so. I think it's more, if you let them get away with it, they'll continue to do it, but whatever you don't let them get away with, they'll stop, or they'll move on. But the ones I've been with have been faithful. Very surprisingly romantic for air signs. The best conversationalists, I'm sure you've noticed that. They're really good at conversing, and not letting the ball drop there. They're good at keeping a conversation going. Very social butterflies. He probably has quite a few friends and lots of places to go, people to see. But in terms of dating them, yeah, I still take what they say with a grain of salt. I take everything that people say with a grain of salt, but especially Gemini men. He is a little different. His mom passed, so he is very gentle around women. Like, he doesn't talk dirty to me like other men do. So he is Gemini Sun, Aquarius Moon, and Leo Rising, Venus and Cancer. What a lovely combo. My Not to toot my own horn, but I love Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius. I love Aquarius. I love Leos. I love Geminis. There was some, yeah, the fact that he doesn't talk dirty to you like other men do, that's a Gemini thing. That's a Gemini thing. The Gemini men I dated, they didn't make sex jokes. That was not something that they would do, and they would be almost a little prudish about it. Like, I remember I was dating a Gemini guy, and he was like admonishing a woman for talking about the size of another man's ding dong, and he was like, "Excuse me, like," and it was like at a restaurant or something, and he just thought it was so inappropriate. And yeah, they're a little like that. I have noticed they can be, and I like that. I really appreciate that. Can't. I mean, of course, I can't speak for 1/12 of the entire population. I'm sure there's some Gemini men that do make sex jokes, but the ones I've been with, no. That was something that they were a little quite prudish about. Which again, I appreciate. I don't know about you, but I sex is funny. Sometimes we can make the occasional sex joke, but if I'm like interested in someone and dating them, I don't really like going in that direction. There's far more interesting ways to make things humorous, and that's what Geminis are good at. They're also very, very funny because they're very, very smart, and so they see the humor in a lot of things that I think a lot of other folks don't. They're also very comfortable with their sexuality usually, not afraid to maybe like engage in more feminine things, like taking care. They're usually very well groomed. Maybe that's just because I like well groomed people, but yeah, not afraid to maybe like be more on the feminine side. Like, I dated a Gemini that was really into interior design. Um, Dated Gemini, yeah, like things that would be more associated with like women or maybe gay men. They'll own it. Prince was a Gemini. There we go. That's a good example, I think, of someone who is very unafraid of just being who they are and comfortable in themselves. Very expressive, but when I mentioned that they sometimes they talk and they don't really think about what's coming out of their mouth. Think of people like Kanye. Think of people like Trump. Okay, they're talking, they always talking, and then they talk too much, and it's like, did you really just say that? Like, did that really come out of your mouth? Like, there's some certain things that just should stay in your head, and for a lot of Geminis, they just can't keep it in their head. Yeah, yeah. So that's also an interesting one to observe too. I always love looking at statistics. That's fascinating. Is looking at statistics when you're looking at. I think Kanye is a Pisces. Nope, he's a Gemini. He's for sure Gemini. He's a June Gemini. Let's see. Because I'm that's another thing as I look at statistics in astrology and celebrities in astrology. That's a big one. Yeah, June 8th. June 8th. He's, yeah, right? He definitely strikes me as a really unhinged Gemini. Yeah. And not 100% his fault at all. I do think that he has been treated poorly by others, but I also do not appreciate him hating on my people. Although he just spoke to, like, I think he just went to Israel not too long ago and spoke to like a very important rabbi to apologize for the statements he's made about Jewish folks. But he also just went on tour again, as I'm sure you know. So I'm like, why are you just trying to clean up your mess before you go on stage again, man? Don't say anything about N words, the N-A-Z-I word, or Jews. I was told I can be unhinged but playfully. I'm a Pisces Sun, Libra Moon, Leo Rising, and Venus in Aries. That's a good combo. It's a good combo. We can all be slightly unhinged in certain ways. Me, yeah. Not with other people. Like, I don't go off on people, but in situations, silly situations, like, I need to cool it. Like, I was looking for a particular product at Walgreens that I couldn't find yesterday, and I was freaking out. And I had to just pause and be like, girl, there's a Target next door. Like, it's not that deep. Like, that's where I get unhinged with really silly things. but I keep it to myself. But yeah, we can all have our moments. But yeah, that's what I would tell you about Gemini men. Is this the first Gemini you've dated? I've also I've only dated one woman in my life, and she was also a Gemini. So go figure. You know, I was talking about the masculine and the feminine. She was the only woman who I ever liked and was attracted to, and she wasn't even masculine or anything. She was just hella funny, hella smart, talk for days, hella fun. I'm an Aquarius, so air signs, the fellow air signs. And I'm a Gemini moon and a Libra rising, so I'm like all air. And then my Venus is in Aquarius. No, wait, I think it's in Cancer. I might be wrong there. I looked it up the other day, and there was one surprise I had. Might be actually in Cancer. But it would make more sense if it was an Aquarius. That's just kind of how I feel. And I was born 9 minutes past midnight. Isn't that crazy? Yes, my first real Gemini. I had one as an interest, but he was crazy and it didn't go anywhere. I think he was just an oddball. They can be. They can be very eccentric, very eccentric. So my Venus is. Wait. What? Oh, there we go. Yep, my Venus is in Aquarius. I was gonna say, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Yeah, and I never used to believe in Eastern astrology until I realized that I was not a tiger. I was actually an ox because I was born prior to because the Lunar New Year started in February, the year I was born, and I was born in January. And then when I read about the ox, I'm like, oh, dang. Yeah, it resonated way more. You always get the Lover's card. You know that's the Gemini card, right? And I don't want to rain on your parade because I do feel good energy and potential between you and him. But as I mentioned, the devil is the same art as the lovers, but the devil, they're bound, the lovers, they're unbound. The lovers is often indicative of definitely like harmony, romance, affection, but the last Gemini I dated, it was fun, but it was fast, and I pulled the lovers a lot whenever I read for that person. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. And it can evolve to become the devil, something more long term. And the lovers card too might be another point of reference where they might get that rap for not being completely monogamous. And I don't get that energy from him. So, yeah. There's definitely good energy between the two of you. I do think it would be difficult for him to be accepted by my family. I'm of Asian descent. He is Irish and from the South. My family will die. Oh. Then I'm surprised we didn't see the Ten of Cups reversed. Because that usually is meddling family members or differences in cultures. But you don't care about what your family thinks. Good for you. When it comes to love, love is love, no matter where we're from, who we are. Yeah, absolutely. I even get kind of miffed when Jewish folks are miffed when their kids don't marry another Jewish person. Like, I get it, but I'm also like, love is love, yo. You know? But I'm also not a parent. But at the same time, love is love. Can the devil reverse mean that it won't be toxic? You're the expert, so I'm not questioning your read. Just curious. Well, that wasn't the energy that I got from that. I'll tell you this. When I read that card, that wasn't the energy that I got from that card. Can that card mean that? I suppose it could. I've never really read it that way. I have read it in terms of like personal toxicity, like possibly addictions or like unhealthy attachments to things. That's how I see it more. There was something else I was going to mention. But I want to assure you, I don't get. I also didn't pick up toxicity from the reading. I would have told you if I felt that he was a toxic, manipulative liar. Girl, that was like most of my readings yesterday. It was pretty intense to have to. It sucks having to tell people that, but I also don't BS people. It's the Aquarius in me. I keep it real, but I also with sensitivity and empathy. But I won't. If I see that someone's cheating, if I see someone's manipulative, concealing something, I will tell you. That's something you need to know. And do I feel that? No. I think he's really excited. I just think he's not thinking about things super logically, which happens when you're really into someone. For some people, Yeah, I appreciate it. Sometimes I need straight to the point messages. Everyone needs straight to the point messages. Some people don't like them, and that's okay. They don't have to come to me. But they really I have disappointed people with the readings when it's not good news. But I'll tell you what, like 2 weeks later they'll come back to me and oftentimes thank me, or at least tell me, yeah, you were right, that did happen. If they don't have it in them to say sorry for blowing up on you, for telling me the truth, if they do end up, no one really blows up on me, but I've had some people be kind of sassy When I've told them unfavorable things, I'm like, hey, this isn't me. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. I'm not the one that's trying to manipulate you or hurt you or disappoint you. So I've had a lot of clients come back and be like, you were right. I'm like, well, you're welcome. And now you're set free. It's better to know earlier than later. The truth sets you free. That's the wisdom of the star card. I don't think any viewers should give attitude yet. Period. Period, girl. Period. And like, but that's the thing is like, they give it's very passive. I'm thinking it's specifically like one client. No, I'm thinking of 3 clients right now, and one of them is far worse than the others. And they don't push me to the point of I have had some where I've had to just block them from my channel, but venting I'll take. Like, I get it. If I give you bad news, it sucks. But don't give it to me. They don't call me names or anything, but they'll just be like, well, my life sucks and I'm wasting my time, and you know, spirit doesn't believe in me. And it's like, okay, well, no, spirit's got your back. It's not the case. But I have had a lot of apologies, even from lightweight attitude, which I really appreciate. And good and bad. I like it when people come back and tell me, like, yeah, your readings are spot on. No, because I've seen it happen, and it would get nasty. With me, on my channel, or with other people? Do you think I take too much crap from people? Because I think 98% of most of my clients are really kind people, and very, very respectful, and I think it's just because I draw that boundary. They know I won't take shit. Yeah, and that's interesting. I haven't seen it too much on other people's channels either. I've seen people get shut down, like, okay, like, you're taking this too far, now you're out of my channel. Thank you very much. And then, oh, yeah, and that's happened to me too. Yeah, especially in like in my early days when I didn't have, like, when my boundaries weren't as established. I would be okay, like, you're gone, like, bye. And then they'd come on with another username and ask for a refund. I'd be like, that's cute. Like, I just gave you a reading you didn't want to hear. That does not a refund make. Like, no. That's like, I bought a lipstick and I don't like how the color looks on me. And actually, that would be more valid, I think. And then there's some readers, I've seen some readers that are like, whoo, like, they've got, like, they run a tight ship. Like, there was one reader I was watching, someone input, they just gave their input, and it wasn't rude, and it was insightful, and I love it when people give insightful input if it's not their reading. Oftentimes the client appreciates it too, so long as it's respectful. You know, you can make a comment, it's fine, this is a public forum. But yeah, this one reader was like, do not make any comments during the readings, this, that, and the other. I'm like, whoa, like, this one's off the chain. There is one person who is circulating, and he is a Libra, asking about an Aries girl he likes. Man gets the same answer again and again, and it's like, dude, I wonder if he's come to my channel. A Libra asking about an Aries girl. Sounds familiar. Sounds like someone I used to read for, but was he a Libra? No, he wasn't a Libra. I think he was a Cancer. What was his name? And yeah, it was always the same answer. And then I would see him on other channels. I haven't seen him in a very long time. And then then he would go to other channels, and they would blow smoke up his bum. And then, like, it would just come out in the cards, they couldn't fake it anymore. And then he moves on to another one. I've seen it happen. I've seen women do it too. He drops $100 on every read. What? He needs to come to my channel. Damn. I mean, some people drop a lot on readings. It's yeah. Or they'll just ask question after question after question, which I'm totally fine with, as long as we get to some clarity. But yeah, no, I'll give him the clarity he needs, but he'll likely just get one reading and F off from me. That's sad. It's sad, and I see it with people I know too. Not just clients, but people in my life, like where people just can't let go. And I have to tell people, like, and myself sometimes, like, just because two people really like one another doesn't mean that they're supposed to be together. And sometimes it's just one sided, and you gotta accept that. I don't know what this gentleman's situation is, but you will get tired because he keeps coming back. Well, I wouldn't get tired if, well, I would if I was giving him the same answer, but at a certain point, I hope that does bring someone clarity. But he just wants to hear what he wants to hear, huh? He may have come to my channel. It does ring a few bells. I'm thinking of a few other different guys. Oh, okay. I just remembered the other guy's name. That wasn't him. That wasn't him. It is the same answer again and again. Oh, with every reader, huh? And you just can't accept it. That's sad. Yeah, I have a few clients like that. And I feel like the men often have a harder time to just accept and move on. They'll hold on longer. And it's like, dude, like, that's. I don't know if people just watch too many movies, but if someone's not showing that they're interested in me in a romantic way, especially if I was a guy and I was courting them, if I didn't see anything in like a month, longest 3 months, I'd be like, okay, it's not, it sucks, but you know, it's not gonna happen. I mean, I feel bad, but he needs to accept it. It's sad, yeah, he does. Sounds like he can't, and he's grasping at straws, trying to find some answer. And maybe some tarot reader at some point has likely told him, oh, yes, there is hope, and he's likely holding on to that one reading, like, with, like, a deathly grip. And out of the thousands of other readings he's gotten that have said no, he can't accept. Reading or not, he can't accept reality is what it sounds like. I mean, I would be surprised if the person he's pining over is showing him affection and making him feel wanted. Otherwise, he wouldn't be asking this question. So that's a denial of reality, lack of acceptance. It's one thing to be confused and in the dark and feel curious. Hell, I've definitely been there. Hell yeah, that happens a lot. But sometimes it's just crystal clear, and it's like the heart blinds our minds. You know, not all of us, but for some folks. Sammy, did you say you're from the Bay Area too? I would absolutely die if I was the Aries girl. Yeah, a guy pining over you. Oh, you're from Chicago? Oh, I used to live in Chicago. I lived there for a couple years. Loved it, except for the weather. In the winter, summers and springs were lovely. Um, the wind literally knocked me down one time. It snowed one. Of course, it snows all the time. But it was my birthday, and it was like, and I just come into town, and it was snowing, and I was like, ah! And I like ran outside of the restaurant and like started like dancing around in the snow, and like the people in the restaurant were just like hella giggling. They're like, "You're not from here, huh?" Like, no, I'm not. Last time I saw the snow was like maybe 6 years ago. You're 4'11", you almost flew away. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm a wee one too, and I didn't. I mean, I've been in some strong winds, but damn, it is the windy city for sure. For sure. Yeah. My goodness, but such a cool city too. Good eating, good ass food. Me too. Me too. I would love to live there. the job market for what I do does not pay well at all over there. I have a colleague who moved out there not too long ago, and oh my god, the wage rates for my job are just terrible over there. I'm like, what? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I work in art. Like, it's New York. I'm a figure study model. I do figure study modeling, and I coordinate it throughout the Bay Area at different art schools and art studios and high schools, colleges, all sorts. You name it. We provide the model. We do the modeling. We hosted, and I'm part of a guild, the Bay Area Models Guild, which is the oldest models guild in the world. One of the few, too. Started in 1948, I want to say. And today was a very special day. The first time in our entire history we now have our own official art salon, 2 days a week. And I was the first, today was the first day, I was the first model. We had such success, like, we sold out, it was great. You're a lab manager in a hospital, legit. Is that really hectic? Or does it like go in ebbs and flows? Or come in ebbs and flows? And the donation queue is open, everyone. We're just having a chitty chat, but if anyone has a question, please feel free to donate. Sorry, there was an ad and I missed the last 30 seconds. Oh, I was just asking if your job was like super like stressful all the time, or if the stress kind of comes in ebbs and flows. I have a lot of clients who work in medical, some nurses and technicians and pharmacists. Oh yes, it's super stressful, but I love to have my adrenaline pumping. Yeah, yeah. Keeping busy, yeah, that's a big one. When I'm like idle at work, I'm like, ugh, I start to get antsy. Absolutely, yeah. God's work, girl. Super important. So you okay? So you're the manager of the. So they do all. They run all the tests there, basically. Is it for a particular department or just like the hospital, or like a hospital in general, or a medical community in general? Like, my department tests the blood you guys give, and I even work with transfusion services. Okay, legit, legit. So, like, from the phlebotomists, and I would assume, yeah, not just phlebotomists, but yeah. Wow, that's amazing, love. I have a friend who's a nurse. He works in the NICU at San Francisco General, and he sent me an audio text the other day, and I heard all these little babies crying in the background. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be stressful. It's a calling. It's a calling to be a healer. How long have you been doing that? You love babies. I am weird. I love kids. I'm not. And then I was at synagogue Friday night, and we had a baby naming, and this little baby, she must have been about a week old. She was the ittiest, bittiest little creature with this gigantic soul, and she was just so beautiful. She had a little brother, or an older brother. He was maybe around 1.5, maybe, yeah, probably about 1.5. That age, I tiny baby, I find super super cute. Regular baby, I'm like, you don't have any personality. I don't really get it. It's really weird, girl. Like, I legit just don't think they're that cute. Then once they start talking, they're the cutest things in the world to me. Like, it's really, and I used to be an au pair too. Like, I legit like adore children, but there's like this little age gap. It's infants. I have a difficult time with infants. Like, I've never changed a diaper. I I've only held a baby once in my life. Like, that was also my rule when I was an au pair. It was like they got to be potty trained. Although I had to deal with some of that, but again, they're talking and I love them, so I don't mind helping with things like that, like accidents and things like that. But I get really nervous around babies. Isn't an Aquarius thing to be meant towards baby? There are so many Aquarius people like that. I think so. I've noticed that too. Aquarius women I know. Well, no, I saw my homegirl today. She's an Aquarius. She's got a baby. I mean, but it's her baby. That's a little different, you know. In general, is she a baby person? I don't know. Yeah, I've never really. Yeah, I've kind of noticed that too. Especially with the Aquarius dudes I know, they typically are not into children at all. Like, even my friend, like his brother, he has three. He has one niece and two nephews. I'm like, oh, how old are they? And he's like, not even giving me the gender. He's like, giving me their ages. I'm like, okay, well, which one is the girl and how old are they? One of them's an infant, and then I think one's 6 and one's 4. And I'm like, oh, that sounds hell. The 4 and the 6-year-old sound like a blast. And he's just kind of like disinterested. I'm like, what? Gotta be a cooler uncle than that. Yeah, other baby. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I've noticed is with Aquarius women I know, like, yeah, they have babies, but I never really noticed them being like, oh, I babies. You know, it, and it would be the same for me if I ever have a child, which is not likely, but if I do, yeah, I would love that baby because it would be mine. Even if I adopted the baby, it was my own, you know. But yeah, no, I don't get excited. Dogs, cats, old, baby, like special needs, whatever. Like, I don't think there's a single dog or cat that I don't love. Um, I really want to volunteer at the animal shelter because I can't have an animal here where I'm living right now. So I'm like going nuts. I'm a fur baby lady. I'm a cat lady. Cats and little dogs. But I love big dogs too. I just don't know if I could have one. Aww, lucky. They're the best. What color is it? Do you have an orange flavored one? I had two voids at the last place I was living. And they were little voids. I swear, I there were so many times where I thought they were sleeping on my bed and it was just a black jacket. Like, I so many times I went to go cuddle my jacket. I'm like, whoa, this is not my cat. And it's so cute when you just see these huge eyes just popping out of the darkness. His name is Kylo, like Kylo Ren. He is gray and he's a gray and white tuxedo. What a cutie. Aww. How old is he? See, I'm like with animals, like people are with babies. Like, how old are they? Is he fussy? Is he spicy? And that's a big reason why. I mean, they're just like humans. Animals are all so different. I've had many cats in my life, and not a single one was remotely like the other. Like, I would actually like to write a book about the cats in my life. He is 7, and he's an Aquarius. Yes, and I also believe in animal astrology for sure. Yeah, I had a little Gemini and a little Leo. My 2 favorite signs. Wild and crazy and runs around. Oh, we got the zoomies. Oh, that's so cute. What a sweetie. Is he indoor? Because Chicago's, oh, I don't know what part of Chicago you live in, but depending on what neighborhood you're in. My other cat that passed was a sassy Virgo. Aww. My mom has a really sassy Sagittarius calico. She's been sassy since the day we got her. I think she's 16 now. And I remember the day we adopted her. I remember the moment I laid eyes on her, it was like we'd been looking for a cat for like months, and we just couldn't like jive with any of the one like this. Not feeling it, not feeling it. And then we were at the Oak. We were going to all the different shelters in the Bay Area. I was like, my friend adopted a cat from the Oakland shelter. They have, I don't know, let's try that. So we went there, and I just hear this, and she still meows constantly. She meow, and she sounds like she has the funniest meow too. She's like, meow. We always joke her last name is Miguel. Like, what's your last name? She's Miguel. I just hear this cat screaming bloody murder, and so I obviously looked, and I just see she has a white face and a black nose. Like, she looks like Minnie Mouse. She's the cutest thing in the world. I'm like, oh my god, mom, look at this. And my mom was like, oh my god, she's like the most beautiful thing in the world. I'm like, yeah. So we played with her, and there was this other couple that was looking at her, and we asked them like, oh, did you see her first? They're like, no, you can take her, because she was really loud. They were like, whoa, okay, a little too much for us. We didn't care how loud she was. She's silly. She's still just as sassy. Now she has arthritis, and I think she has a little bit of kitty onset dementia. She gets confused sometimes, and wow, does that lady know how to scream? And my mom gets nervous, like, oh, is she in worse pain? And yeah, pain gets worse as we get older. But imagine not being able to talk. That's what she's doing. She's just saying, "Mom, I need my medicine. I'm in more pain today." And she's an extra super drama queen. That girl's so healthy. Beyond the little arthritis the poor thing has, she's very healthy. I think she's only been to the vet like once, no, twice, and like they're just like, she's like golden. Like, her blood tests are always great. She's a healthy little thing. She does not like other cats. She does not like other people for the most part. She is obsessed with my mom. She likes me. She doesn't like that I come and go, but she acknowledges, like, okay, well, mommy likes her. Mommy loves her, so I guess I'm supposed to as well. But I have to share mommy with her. She's kind of like that. Aw. No, she's not good. She's not. No, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. She's just very particular. Like, all my brother's getting married this summer in Istanbul, or in Turkey, and she will not, especially at her age, she will not be able to handle being put in a cattery. So we got 2 choices. Either we hire someone who we don't know to come and take care of her, and she's just alone. Fun, but a little challenging, because she's getting older now. And the last time my parents went to Turkey and left her with me, I brought her to my place, my old place. She stayed in my room for 2 weeks. I'd never seen her like that. She didn't eat. She wasn't sleeping. And this girl gets her eat on. She was really unwell. Yeah, that's what I told my mom. I would hire, but I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can go. So I think I'll be the one taking care of her. And even at that, I can't. My parents live like an hour and a half away from me. I can't stay there for like a whole month. So I would have to drive out there like every couple days or so, just so she knows she's got someone, she's not alone. But yeah, I don't know. It's a confusing situation. Oh my god, I saw the most hilarious cat video yesterday. This TikTok of this guy. It simply said, "How do I explain this to my cat sitter?" And you see he's put the food down for his two cats, and they're just sitting next to each other on the floor, and they both have little t-shirts on. And the cats are just like looking up at him, even though the food's on the ground before them. They just keep on looking up at him, and one of them meows, and he sighs, and he picks them both up, and then he faces them towards the camera, and then shakes them, like I don't want to use the term violently, but like heavily shakes them, and they're purring and laughing, like not laughing, but they're like smiling and purring, and then he tosses them on the floor, and then it's time to eat. I'm like, what? How did they get into that habit? How does that even start? Like, it must have just been a joke once, and I guess they liked it, because I know cats do really like heavy petting. They love their bum slapped. They like to, especially boys, like to wrestle. I would have a 1 week supply. There are feeders and litter box cleaners that are automated in water fountains. What is the Insta channel name? That sounds. It was, I don't even know the Insta channel name. I was watching it on YouTube, but it was a TikTok that was reposted to YouTube. If you friend me on Instagram, I can send it to you on Instagram, because I know I sent it to my mom. And it was not AI. You could tell it was definitely not AI. Just two really weird cats. Sammy Loca for sugar. Okay. You're okay. Just followed you. Things that make me happy: cats, chocolate, cats, Coca-Cola, cats. Yes, I love Coca-Cola. And I don't know if you noticed, but I do like me a cat. I do like me some kitties. Okay, I just sent it to you. Oh, you are so beautiful. Yeah, how do I explain this to the cat sitter? For real. I would be so confused. You too, love. Take care. You have a wonderful rest of your night. Of course, love. It's hilarious. So the donation queue is open, everybody. And I will be doing the last call in probably about 5 minutes. All right, so I have been on for just a little over 2 hours, so I'm going to do a last call for any and all donations tonight. If you have a question that you need me to answer, now would be the time to ask. Last call, everybody. Last call for any and all donations tonight. Thank you. Last call tonight for all donations. Thank you. Last call for any and all donations. Thank you. Alright, looks like everyone is happy and taken care of. Thank you all so very, very much, and I will see you all again soon.